Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, so I want to do this episode to overall help out people out there that are in Jeff Hardy's situation. You know, give out some advice, words of wisdom, something, you know, to help him out, to help out people in this situation. But battling addictions, yeah, it's tough. You know, I think we all have our addictions in some way, and it takes you to like fix those addictions. It takes you to fix those problems in your life. You know, like everybody in this world can give you advice. Everybody in this world, you know, can give you the help that you need. But at the end of the day, it is up to you to accept that help, take in that advice, or give yourself advice, or seek out help yourself. All right. There is going to be at times where people aren't going to be there for you. I feel like in Jeff Hardy's case, it's like, you know, you being one of the biggest wrestlers of our time, you know, there's going to be a lot of people out there trying to offer out something, you know, and how I see it, I do feel like a lot of people are going in on him because of this. Like, it's, you know, because, yeah, I think we can all see, yes, he has some sort of addiction, you know, and yeah, it's a problem, you know, it's not healthy, it's not good. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's up to him to fix these problems. It's up to him to fix these addictions. Now, if he gets caught up, it's like my thing is this, to judge this man acting like we don't have friends, families, next door neighbors, people across town. Like, there are people surrounding us that has some form of addiction. I'm not going to say it's going to be everybody, but there's going to be one person, okay, in your, you know, physical circle, like friend circle, family circle. Like, there's going to be somebody around you that has an addiction. At least one person, right? Now, what would you overall do for that person? Like, I know a lot of people be like, oh, cut that person off. Like, if they decide to choose their addictions over friends, families, and all that, cut that person off. A lot of people, I do see where people do that. And, yeah, if it's mentally too much for you, it's like, fam, you know, yes, worry about your own mental. And, you know, like I said, you know, that person would, you know, whatever their addictions are, whatever they, you know, got going on, it's like, it's up to them to fix that stuff. So, because, you know, you think of it like, I know a lot of people look at, like, addictions as, like, how can I place it in words? Because I'm sitting here thinking of, like, the TV show My Strange Addictions. You know, it's, like, not so much as a joke, but, like, I feel like people, I mean, and it's, like, you have to, I feel like, yes, you gotta look at addictions as a, you know, a negative thing, especially if it's not good for you. So I feel like that's how people are seeing, because, like, I mean, with the, when Jimmy Uso, when he got caught up not too long ago with the drinking stuff, I still feel like people, they still get on that man till this day, you know, because it was, and I think it's more so, it's like, you guys sit down and think about it. Besides him being a wrestler, you know, he's a person just like the rest of us. It wouldn't have been no different, the people that are judging this man, the people that are going off on this man, if you guys had addictions, if you guys had problems. And I feel like those that have recovered from their addictions, those that have recovered, they're not going to sit around and judge this man for his issues, especially if you are currently going through an addiction. You're not going to judge this man over his issue. You're not going to have, it's like if you have that mindset to where you're going to judge this man, it's like, fam, and that's the thing, I don't think a lot of people realize that, like, if you are judging, like, Jeff Hardy, Jimmy Uso, or any other wrestler that's had addictions and problems and all that stuff, it's like, fam, if you don't have it, or if you already have it, it's like, bro, at some point in time in your life, you're gonna have it, okay? At some point in time in your life. So, and especially if you have dealt with it, and then you turn back around and you judge somebody else. It's like, fam, what was you doing, back before, this whole situation? You had addictions too. So that's why it's like, I feel like judging, that's not going to help. That's not going to do anything for anybody. You got to help this person. You got to send them love. You got to send them support. You got to let them know it's like, hey, stuff like this isn't healthy. Because like with Jeff Hardy, like that's one thing that I have paid attention to, ever since like with WWE, AEW, it's like this man is putting his body out on the line. Out on the line. They got this man doing some of the most wildest things, and they got him doing stuff. Like, if it's in a much more better setting to where like his body is more protected, it's like, okay, cool, fine, it's whatever, but I feel like this man has taken a toll on himself to where like if he finds comfort in his addictions, it's like, fam, maybe it's time to retire. Because I would rather to see Jeff Hardy in a healthier and better lifestyle. It's like if he wants to come back to wrestle, it's like, bro, don't do some of the wild matches, where it's like you're jumping off of like rooftops or freaking like all these other wild crazy things they had him doing in AEW. I mean WWE, they had him doing some wild matches too. But I feel like that. Here's what I personally think about the wrestling industry. I do feel like that when you build a status for yourself in wrestling, I feel like it depends on like what kind of like where it overall goes. Like I feel like it's gonna be with some people, they ain't gonna hear what you have to say. It's not gonna. I feel like it gets to a point in time where if you get big enough, it's gonna get difficult. I do feel like it's going to get really difficult. And I ain't saying like, oh, all wrestlers got to be small wrestlers and stuff, because like, I feel like a lot of wrestlers, they put themselves on the line. They have these like over the top, like proving themselves matches and things. And then it gets to a point in time where it's like, people are going to expect like that level that you set for yourself back when you were starting. I feel like with Jeff Hardy, it's like you set this level to where people are expecting you to do these like jumping off of ladders and slamming on tables and slamming on people. They're expecting you to do all of that stuff. And and it's like at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, if you're comfortable with this, like, fam, do it in a fashion where you're going to be safe. Do it in a fashion where you're not going to be constantly hurting yourself. Because like when I paid attention, I was right there with everybody paying attention to Jeff Hardy when this man, he coming down the ramp just holding his back or holding his side. Like this man, I honestly feel like that he is going through some pains. He is going through some troubling times. And I feel like with AEW, it's like that. I feel like where he is at with AEW, they got him out there acting like how he was when he like back when he was going up against Edge and Christian, the Dudley boys, like back in them days, like what, 20 something years ago. I'm saying it's like them, like, look, them days is over with. All right, now it's like if he want to still wrestle, it's like, fam, because you don't really see Matt Hardy doing stuff like that. Like, and I feel like that's why I feel like Matt Hardy is in a much more like physical condition. I do feel like he's in a much more better place, because with Jeff Hardy, it's like I feel like he, like, I don't know, maybe he thinks he has something to prove, but it's like, bro, you have absolutely nothing to prove to us, absolutely nothing. And the thing is like I remember when like in WWE, like those guys, they would always try to like, they had him part of like some like dark stories where it's like, fam, give this man, if you gotta give him a supernatural story, if you gotta do something, but it's like, don't have this man doing stunts where it's like it's gonna constantly be like, think of something else. I'm saying there's so many different things they could have did with Jeff Hardy. I'm like, bro, I do feel like, I'm not trying to blame WWE or throw them under the bus, but I'm like, fam, how I just feel like how they booked him, it's like he's not that guy anymore. Like, I'm not trying to sound or be disrespectful when I say that, but it's like, do y'all wonder why he's going back? Like, it was a DUI. Like, do y'all want to know why he got that DUI? It's like, look at the stuff that he's done in the like past year. Like him working with WWE and then him working with AEW. You don't think that stuff can be stressful? I'm saying it's like that's one of the main reasons why I never really like got into drinking, because you see how easy it can be. Like, fam, I was like, if I've developed addictions to Fiji water, protein shakes, apple juice, Red Bulls, all these other different types, soda, all these other different types of drinks, alcohol does not need to be nowhere near me. Nowhere near me. Bro, I remember some of the times when I would hang out with coworkers after work, and they, I remember like drinking whiskey for the first time. Yeah, it's like, you had that initial cough, you had that, but it was good. And I'm like, bro, no, I can't, like, that's like one of the main, if I'm gonna drink, it's like, I'm really like socially, I can't remember the last time I had a drink. I think last time I had a drink, I was hanging out with my dad, and it was at some like restaurant, and it was tequila. Like, that was the last time I think I had drank. That was sometime maybe like last year, maybe in 2020. I can't even remember. But like, I'm not into that. Like, even it's like, then going back to like at my old job, like there was this one time I remember it was like this like mixed drink, and it tastes good. And it was like, had like Red Bull, I think it had vodka, had all this other different stuff in it. And fam, I was like, by the time everybody else is kind of like, sipping and taking their time with their drink, I was almost done with my drink. And I'm saying, it's like, fam, it's like when you have so much stress, when you have so much frustration, you have so much like, negative energy built up in you, it's like drinking is like one of the last things that you need to do. Even when it was like during the pandemic, and it's like, it's like you want to do like, fam, it's not something that I'm like into. It's not something that I want to like, it's not fun. And it's like, and then another reason is like, I remember the first time I got drunk, that wasn't fun either. I'm like sitting there throwing up all around my house. Yeah, that's not fun. That is not fun at all. So like, that's why I just, drinking is just not a thing for me. Like if I gotta do a whole podcast episode just talking on the negatives of drinking, fam, I will do that. But I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, there's nothing special about it. Like, even for like those like younger people, they wanted like, the underage people, they, because it's like, I'm saying, it's like, fam, I went to school with kids that would drink. It's a thing. I just think that people gotta accept. I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying that it's okay to go out and do it. I'm trying to tell people not to do it. But like, fam, I know people are gonna think like it's such a fun thing to do, but it's such a negative thing to have in your life. Where honestly, cause sit down and think about it. Where do you guys think Jeff Hardy would be right now if he wasn't like heavily into drinking or like the pills or anything else that he's gotten into in his career? Where do you guys? Jeff Hardy would probably be owning his own like wrestling company at this point. But I feel like because of his past, it's like people always see him doing these like over the top matches and then having these moments where he gets caught up in a DUI, DWI, whatever it is and stuff. But it's like, fam, I feel like if he never had any of that stuff going on in his life, Jeff Hardy would be in a much more better position in life. So it's like, sit down and think of all the alcoholics, all the drug addicts, all the crackheads, all the different, not saying that, like Jeff Hardy is any of that. I mean, he has his issues and stuff, but I feel like there's a deeper meaning behind it. Me personally, I don't feel like Jeff Hardy is a drug addict. I don't feel like he's an alcoholic. I do feel like that he can have his moments where he's doing really good, and then he just has his moments where he just crashes and crumbles. And I'm like, and to me, I'm like, I don't call that an alcoholic. I call that a man that has a problem that needs to be fixed, but and I'm like, and I hope others see that. I hope people have seen that before I even said that. If so, then I'm like, cool, we're on the same page. It might have taken me a little bit longer to get on that page, but at least like we can acknowledge this man is not a title. He's a normal man. He just has issues in his life. He has problems in his life. I feel like if those problems are fixed, those problems are solved, those issues are, no more, I feel like that he can have a much more better life. But I'm saying, it's like, this is a point I was going to make. I was going to make a point. I was just like, something about like drug heads or like crackheads, drug addicts, and alcoholics and stuff. I was getting ready to make a point. I was getting ready to say something, just straight got distracted. All right, anyways, moving on. But yeah, it's like this man, I think if we're just there for him rather than like, because I don't know, like I haven't really seen any of the things, but I just remember the last time like people was like, I just remember when the Jimmy Uso situation, like people was going off on him. And then I remember when his, the video leaked out when he was getting arrested and things, like people was going off on him. I think he has issues, it's like, I mean, like it's not like not like mental issues, but I do think that he has a form of an issue where it's like he goes to drinking and then he just feels calm, cool, and collected. You know, so like, and that's it's just overall not good to like look at drinking in that way. It's like, fam, you know, like at times, you know, here pretty much this, you know, people are gonna have their problems. The best way to help people with those problems, or the best way for the people themselves to help themselves with those problems, is that you got to, if you got to like take time to yourself to figure out these things, because fam, I've thought of this numerous times myself. And then you just like, because I feel like that a lot of people, they just find it easy to just do the one thing that you're addicted to. And it's like, fam, I just feel like with that, you just keep digging yourself deeper and deeper and deeper in the hole. Because if you didn't have your addictions, if you didn't have your problems, if you didn't have your issues, you will be in a much more better position in life. Trust me, I know. You know, I have my addictions, I have my problems. I ain't gonna say it's like drug or anything, but I have my stuff in my life that's helped me back. And I'm like, and I could have used that time to record videos. I could have used that time to record podcast episodes, TikToks, and all that stuff. So it's like the only thing that I can do, the only thing Jeff Hart can do, the only thing Jimmy Uso can do, the only thing that people with addictions can do is that you gotta like build that strength. That level of strength that is unmatched. It is stronger than you as a wrestler. It is stronger than anything in this world. That it's like people are looking at you and it's like, fam, how is that even possible? You know, like that's the like, I feel like the legacy people need to leave behind when you have like issues like that in your life. So anyways, yeah, I just think, you know, yeah, he got a form of an addiction, but I wouldn't necessarily call him an addict. You know, like, I feel like addicts, it's like that. If he was an addict, trust me, he wouldn't be wrestling. He wouldn't be. I just think that he has, like, you know, a problem that needs to be fixed. So, anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.